On some nights, when the rain falls softly against the city streets, destinies quietly cross paths. Amarachi, a young fashion designer chasing her dreams, never imagined that one rainy night would change her life forever. And Tunde, a man hiding his true identity, never thought he would find love in the unlikeliest of places. But love, like the rain, falls where it chooses, and nothing can stop it. So grab your popcorn, sit back and get ready for one of the most powerful stories you've ever heard, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button to support more inspiring stories like this one. The evening Lagos sky had already turned dark grey, heavy clouds rolling over the city. By the time Amarachi reached Eco Bridge, the heavens had opened. The kind of rain that Lagosians joked was imported from London came down in furious sheets, drumming against her windshield. Her wipers fought hard, but the road was still a blur of headlights, horns, and angry downfall drivers weaving dangerously through traffic. Amarachi's heart pounded as she kept glancing at the time, 7:42 p.m. She had less than 30 minutes to get to a private dinner with foreign investors at Eco Hotel. A dinner that could change her life. She pressed the accelerator. The car coughed. She frowned. Again. Another cough. Then suddenly, silence. The dashboard lights flickered out. The Lexus rolled to a stop in the middle of the bridge. Jesus Christ, she gasped, slamming her hand against the steering wheel. Horns blared behind her. A downfall driver stuck his head out the window and shouted, "Madam, carry your car comot from road now." "Do I look like I planned this?" she muttered angrily, biting her lip to stop the tears stinging her eyes. She tried the ignition, nothing. She tried again, still dead. In desperation, she pulled out her phone and dialed her mechanic. No answer. She called again. Still nothing. "Oh God, not now, please, not tonight," she whispered, slumping against the wheel. The rain came harder, leaking through her half-open window. Her carefully laid edges were ruined, mascara streaming down her cheeks. Her designer shoes, soaked in muddy puddles, were now worth less than Akara paper. That was when she heard it, a deep, steady voice behind her. "Madam, do you need help?" She spun around sharply. A young man stood there, his grey hoodie clinging to his frame, jeans soaked, sneakers muddy. He held a battered umbrella that looked like it had fought one too many rainy days. Her eyes narrowed. "I'm fine. Thank you." But the man stepped closer, peering at her car with calm interest. "Sounds like alternator or battery. I can help you check." Amarachi's pride flared. "Excuse me. Do you even know what you're talking about? This isn't some Kiki Nepep, it's a Lexus SUV." He smiled faintly, rain dripping from his hair. "Car is car. Rich or poor, they all breathe the same way. May I?" She glared at him. Who was this random stranger, dripping wet, talking to her as if he knew better? Still, something about his composure unsettled her. Against her better judgment, she didn't stop him when he opened the bonnet. Within seconds, his hands moved with ease, checking cables, tightening a loose connection, adjusting a wet wire. She stood by the door, arms crossed, determined not to look impressed. "Try it now," he said after a minute. With a skeptical sigh, she slid back into the driver's seat and turned the key. The engine roared to life immediately, the headlights brightening the wet road. Amarachi froze. She hadn't expected that. The man shut the bonnet, stepped back, and smiled, an easy, quiet smile that felt strangely disarming. "There you go." She lowered the window slightly, the rain splashing in. "Wait, who exactly are you?" He tilted his head, meeting her gaze. His eyes were warm but unreadable, the kind of eyes that carried secrets. "Just someone who helps when he can. Everyone in Lagos is more than what they seem." Before she could say anything else, he waved lightly and began walking away, blending into the blur of rain, traffic, and neon reflections. Amarachi sat there for a long moment, gripping the steering wheel, her heart racing. She whispered to herself, "Weird guy," but deep inside, she felt something strange. Not fear. Not gratitude. Something else, something she didn't want to name. She checked her mirror one last time, but he was gone. She exhaled, shifted into gear, and drove off, never imagining that her story with the stranger had only just begun. Days passed, but Amarachi couldn't get the mysterious stranger out of her mind. She told herself it was silly, after all, Lagos was full of random encounters. Yet, whenever rain streaked her office windows, she found herself remembering his calm smile and the words, "Everyone in Lagos is more than what they seem." One Friday evening, Amarachi booked a ride-hailing service to meet a client on Victoria Island. She was scrolling through her phone when the car pulled up. She opened the door, stepped in, and froze. Behind the wheel sat the same man from the bridge. Her mouth fell open. "You." His lips curved into that same quiet smile. Small world. Amarachi blinked, unsure whether to laugh or be annoyed. "So, you fix cars and drive boat?" "Sometimes Uber," he corrected lightly, adjusting the mirror. "Got to pay bills somehow." She raised a brow, trying to mask the flicker of curiosity. "Interesting career combination. Better than sitting at home waiting for Lagos traffic to disappear," he teased. She tried to hold back a smile, but failed. The ride was quiet at first, but slowly, conversation trickled in. They argued about music. She loved Asa, he preferred Burna Boy. They debated jollof rice versus fried rice supremacy. By the time he dropped her off, she was laughing. As she stepped out, he said, "Next time, I'll bring soya. Then we'll settle the argument properly." Her eyes lingered on him for a moment longer than necessary. "We'll see." Their next time came sooner than either expected. Over the next few weeks, fate, or maybe something more, kept drawing them together. She booked rides, and he somehow always ended up her driver. He started picking her up after late meetings, and they'd talk for hours as Lagos shimmered outside the windows. One night, he took her to a suyo spot in Yoba. She wrinkled her nose at the smoky atmosphere at first, but when he handed her peppered beef wrapped in newspaper, she tasted it and laughed, her face lighting up. "This is better than all the cocktails I've had on the island." Another night, they sat at Freedom Park, listening to live music under fairy lights. He told her about his younger sister, how he worked odd jobs to pay her school fees. She told him about investors who dismissed her because she was too young and too female. "You don't need them to validate you," he said simply. "Your designs will speak for you." His faith in her was disarming. She found herself staring at him, wondering how someone so ordinary-looking carried such extraordinary strength. Yet, not everyone approved. Her best friend, Ifeoma, noticed the growing bond and frowned. "Amora, I beg, tell me you're not catching feelings for that guy. He's a driver. Your brand needs class, not roadside romance." Amarachi sighed, brushing it off. "He's different, Ife. He listens to me." Meanwhile, Tan's friends teased him at the barber shop. "Guy, not rich babe you dey roll with. Be careful before she go dump you for one London big boy." He only smiled, but late at night, doubts gnawed at him. Could someone like Amarachi truly choose someone like him? One night, it rained again. Heavy, thundering Lagos rain. Amarachi stood under a shop shade, stranded without an umbrella. Then headlights cut through the storm. A familiar car pulled up, and the window rolled down. "Need a ride?" Tunde asked, grinning. She hesitated, then laughed. "You really do have timing." As she slid into the passenger seat, the rain pounded against the car roof. They drove in silence for a while, the city glittering around them, the air thick with something unspoken. Finally, she whispered, "Why do I feel like I can breathe when I'm with you?" Tom's hands tightened on the wheel. For a moment, he wanted to tell her everything, who he really was, the life he was hiding. But instead, he just glanced at her, his eyes soft. Maybe because Lagos finally slows down when we're together. She looked at him, her heart skipping. Outside, the rain kept falling, but inside the car, something warmer had begun to grow. It was Amarachi's birthday. She had told no one except her best friend, Ifeoma, who was too busy with work to celebrate with her. That evening, after a long, draining meeting with investors who kept talking over her, she returned to her flat in Lekki, exhausted. When she pushed the door open, she froze. The living room was filled with balloons, fairy lights twinkling like stars, and on the table sat a small cake with "Happy Birthday, Amora" scrawled in imperfect icing. And there was Tunde, holding a cheap sparkler in his hand, grinning like a child. Her eyes filled with tears. "How did you?" "I have my ways," he said softly. She laughed, covering her mouth. "You can't even afford balloons that match colors." He shrugged, smiling. "But I can afford to make you smile." The night was magical. They ate suya and cake, laughed until her sides hurt, and danced barefoot in her living room to Asa's Bank. For the first time in years, Amarachi felt seen, not as a rising designer, not as a daughter of wealthy parents, but as a woman. And in that moment, she knew she was falling for him. Later that night, after Tunde left, Amarachi began tidying the room. She noticed a notebook on the chair, a black leather cover, slightly worn. Curious, she picked it up. She hesitated, then opened it. Her eyes widened. Inside were sketches of tech designs, flowcharts, company plans. Pages filled with words like startup prototype, investment strategies, next-gen systems. But what struck her most was a printed article tucked in the back. "Billionaire tech mogul son, Tunde Williams, rejects corporate lifestyle, where is he now?" Her breath caught. She stared at the photo. It was him. Same eyes. Same smile. Her mind spun. The stranger who fixed her car, the driver who teased her, the man who ate suya with her under streetlights. He wasn't just anyone. He was the heir to a multi-billion naira tech empire. And he hadn't told her. The next day, Amarachi stormed into the suya joint where they had planned to meet. He was already there, leaning casually against his car, but his smile faded when he saw her expression. "You lied to me," she said coldly, dropping the journal on the table. Tunde's jaw tightened. "You read it." "How could I not?" she snapped, her voice trembling. "All this time, you made me believe you were just you. A driver, a mechanic, someone ordinary. But you're the son of Richard Williams, the tech billionaire." People around them glanced curiously, but she didn't care. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Amora, I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you everything." She laughed bitterly. "Don't play word games with me. You let me open up to you, share my fears, my struggles, while you hid the biggest truth about yourself." "I wanted to know," he said softly, "if someone could love me without the name. Without the money. Just me." Her voice cracked. "Do you know how humiliating it feels? I defended you to everyone who said you weren't good enough. And now I find out you were testing me." "Amora, no." But she had already picked up her bag. Her hands trembled as she whispered, "You should have trusted me. You should have trusted us." She turned and walked away, the sound of the rain beginning to fall again outside. That night, Amarachi lay in bed, unable to sleep. Her mind replayed every moment, the rain on Eco Bridge, suya in Yoba, his quiet encouragement, the way he looked at her as if she was the only one in the world. But now it all felt like a lie. Across town, Ton sat in his car, staring at his phone. Dozens of unsent messages blinked on his screen. I'm sorry. Please, let me explain. I didn't want to lose you. But he deleted them all. Instead, he whispered to the empty night, I didn't mean to hurt you. The rain poured harder, echoing the storm inside them both. The weeks after the confrontation were heavy for Amarachi. She threw herself into preparing for the biggest fashion show of her career, Lagos Rising Designers Night. If she succeeded, investors would finally take her seriously. But inside, she was crumbling. Every design felt lifeless. Every sketch looked wrong. At night, she stared at the rain streaking her window, wondering if she had been foolish to believe in love. Ifeoma noticed her silence. Amora, your eyes don't sparkle anymore. Was it because of him? Amarachi avoided the question. She was too proud to admit that she missed him with every beat of her heart. The night of the fashion show arrived. The hall at Eco Hotel was buzzing, camera lights flashing, music pulsing, Lagos elite sipping champagne as they waited. Backstage, Amarachi trembled. Models in her designs were lined up, but she couldn't breathe. Her chest tightened. The fabric she once loved now felt like chains. She whispered to herself, I can't do this. And then, a voice behind her said, yes, you can. Her eyes widened. Ton stood there, dressed simply but confidently, holding a garment bag. Rain still clung to his shoulders as if he had rushed through a storm. Amarachi's breath caught. Why are you here? He unzipped the bag, revealing a gown he had commissioned in secret, her sketch brought to life by artisans he quietly funded. Because you're brilliant. And because I believe in you, even when you don't. Her eyes filled with tears. After everything, you still came. Ton's voice shook, but his eyes were steady. Amora, I never meant to deceive you. I hid who I was because I wanted to be seen for me, not for my father's money. But what I feel for you, that's the one thing I never hid. She stared at him, torn between anger and longing. The hall manager called, you're on in 5 minutes. Her hands trembled as she reached for the gown. Their fingers brushed, sparks igniting in the middle of a storm. The lights dimmed. The music swelled. One by one, her models walked the runway in her bold, modern African designs, pieces that blended tradition with fierce elegance. The crowd murmured, impressed. But the highlight came when the final model stepped out in the gown Ton had brought, a flowing, radiant piece that shimmered like Lagos rain under the spotlights. Gasps filled the hall. Investors leaned forward. Cameras flashed wildly. Amarachi stood backstage, tears streaming silently. For the first time in weeks, her heart beat with pride, not just for her work, but for herself. When the applause died down and the hall emptied, Amarachi stepped outside. The rain had stopped. The streets glistened under the glow of street lamps. Ton waited by the entrance, hands in his pockets, eyes searching for her. She walked up to him slowly. You could have stayed away. I couldn't, he said softly. I love you, Amora. Not as the designer, not as the girl with investors chasing her. Just as you. Her chest tightened. Pride and pain warred inside her. But then, she remembered his words from that night in the car, maybe because Lagos finally slows down when we're together. She took a deep breath. I hate that you kept the truth from me. But I hate more that I missed you. His eyes widened. Does that mean? Amarachi's lips curved into the softest smile. It means Lagos rain will fall again. But I don't want to stand through it alone. Ton exhaled shakily, stepping closer. So, you choose me? She nodded, her voice breaking. I choose you. And there, under the glow of wet Lagos streets, she melted into his arms. The city buzzed around them, horns, laughter, life, but in that moment, time stood still. Weeks later, Amarachi's fashion line landed international headline deals. Tunde finally took his place in his father's company, but on his own terms, creating opportunities for young Nigerians. And whenever the Lagos skies grew heavy with rain, Amarachi would laugh, leaning into him as they shared one umbrella. Because for them, the rain wasn't a curse anymore. It was where their love began. And so, when the storm finally cleared, Amarachi and Tunde discovered that love was never about secrets, wealth, or appearances. It was about trust, sacrifice, and two hearts finding shelter in each other. Whenever the rain returned, they no longer feared it, for it reminded them of where their love began. This is the story of love in the rain. And here comes the end of this powerful and amazing story. Kindly share your thoughts on the comment section, and if you're still joining us for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel and don't forget to share this interesting story to your loved ones. Thank you so much, and do have a beautiful day.